If you're not comfortable working with plumbing, I'd advise you to call a professional or somebody that knows what they're doing to help you. So, toilet. This is a Kohler toilet, battery operated. I don't know how it's battery operated. Oh, it's touchless. If you ever want to get a touchless toilet, you just wave your hand. You got to change the batteries though, and it just like flushes. Kohler touchless toilet. So I'm going to change the wax ring, and while I'm at it, I'm going to change the toilet. So these are the tools that I'm going to be using. Big wrench, if I even need it, because everything comes pre-tightened. This to kind of hold the bolt underneath, because sometimes it don't want to give. And then this bad boy. But now I want to always replace these, because you're going to break the line, and to ensure a nice watertight seal, you want to have a fresh line, and a bucket and a sponge. So first of all, I don't like to touch these, but sometimes I just do it just to do it. This looks fairly new, so careful not to tighten it too tight. Just tight enough for it to stop. And this water's not stopping. Yeah, that's what she did. She closed it and then I opened it. So let all the water out. I wanted to get the sponge, take all the water out of there, and then take all the water out of here. And then I'm going to loosen up the bolts on the side. I'll get to that. So I'm trying to get all the water out, but there's water over here and this side. So what I do is, because there's always some play, so I push it down and let all the water come over from here, and then I suck it up with the sponge. Make sure you don't forget this water in here, because once you move the toilet on an angle, it's going to go everywhere. And make sure you get all the water out. Okay, so now 1, 2, 3, the bolts right here. So I want to imagine that I'm spinning it righty-tighty, right? And then I guess this is still filling up a little bit. So that's okay, because righty-tighty. And then I'm going to spin the bolts the opposite way. So I'm going to push down and give it some airspace and untighten the bolts. Then I'm going to do the same thing to all 3. So now that I got the tank off, I can come down here, pop these off, and kind of, these are tight. Sometimes they're loose if you're changing the toilet. It's been here for a while. So, and these are tight too. So that's where the monkey wrench comes in. I'm gonna untighten them, and I'll be back. Now the these are loosened up. I took them out. They're not loosened, I took them out. And I'm just gonna lift them up. And now that it's empty, ooh, look at that wax ring. So I'm gonna take that up, get like a garbage bag. I'll show you how to do it. And take this old toilet downstairs. So pretty much first thing I do is measure the old wax ring. Sometimes the flange sits lower than the floor, but not all the time. Like, cause you can buy another wax ring. I like to have one handy, just so I could put it on the bottom of this and kind of twist it and mold it together, and then really squash it down. That's probably what they did, or they used a jumbo wax ring. So now I just stick my hand in here, different parts of the bag, and I just get to ripping. Oh, well, this one's all the way flat. So that one was flat, flatted the heck out of it, but you know, at least I have a big enough wax ring. So I'm just gonna rip it up like that. Get up as much as I can with this bag and my fingernails. So I got it everywhere. And the bag helped keep my hands from getting greasy. So since it's so flush, I got the edge of it up and I kind of like disturbed it a little bit, you know what I mean? To kind of get the dirtiness off and have the fresh exposed. So make sure these are up. And then put the other wax ring in. I like to put it on, right? Kind of centered as much as you can and just push it down and kind of like agitate it in just so it can have a nice seal. And then once you put the toilet on, you push it in and you squash it. So I put the wax ring on, right? So now I kind of went outside, grabbed the toilet from here and with my other hand from here. And if you have enough light, you can see them through the holes as you're setting it. And see how it's like this? You want it like that. That way when you push it down, see I'm putting force on it. Sometimes you can sit on it too, but if it's hard enough, so see the space now? Make sure the toilet is straight before, you make sure that the angle of it, make sure it's straight up front and back. Because once you sit on it, to flatten it out, I mean, it's okay, I guess, if you disturb it a little bit, but not too much. You kind of do want to spin it on, to kind of make like an airtight seal, watertight seal. So there you go, I sat on it, I went down, and I'm going to tighten up these bolts now. So now, I don't know if the flange, I should have checked that flange and made sure that it was screwed to the bottom correctly. So I think I tightened it up, but I think nobody screwed the flange to the floor, and it's the whole flange is moving. So I think that the toilet is tight with the flange with the toilet, but the flange isn't screwed to the floor. So I'm gonna have to take it up again and make sure that the flange is secure. That way the toilet doesn't move like this. So, took the toilet back off, and see, the whole thing moves. And I know it's a metal pipe, but still, I'm just going to at least pop 2 screws here, and maybe 1 screw right here and right there. Just make sure when you do it, make sure the direction of the pipe, because if it's plastic, you can drill a hole right through the pipe and then you'll have a leak. If the pipe ever clogs or anything, you'll have a leak. The wax ring's good about not letting that happen. So I got 2.5-inch screws, so I'm going to pop them in there and make sure the screw holes out of the way so you don't puncture the pipe. So I'm going to drill these screw holes away. I'm going to drill them away, and that way I don't have this movement, and later on if the whole toilet moves, you could possibly crack the toilet. So what had happened is the screw heads tended to be a little smaller than the holes, so I had to angle the screws like this, but I used a washer, if you can see, to kind of make the screw heads a little bit bigger. And You know, I did all 4 holes. I angled it away from the pipe that way, but the pipe goes this way anyway. So I angled it away from the pipe so I don't hit the pipe. And now, see, it's just like more. Before I could lift it up here, and now I can't. But the board, it seems like the wood around it is kind of, because it's loose, that was moving, the toilet was moving, so I think water was dripping on and making the wood brittle. So I had to reach out down here like that. But it's tight now, so I'm going to go get another wax ring, and then I'm going to put everything together the way I had it. But it's always good to do a good job, you know. You never know what's going to happen later, you know. So while I'm waiting here, I'm going to take the old one off, you know, right here. I'm going to take the old one off. So righty tighty, lefty loosey. So this is loosening it. So see how easy that was? It wasn't that hard, because after a while the washer breaks down and the compression isn't as what it used to be because the water broke it down. You know, you see that little indentation? It's indented. So that's why I put it tight. I make sure that it's tight. Not too tight to rip it, but finger tight enough with the crescent wrench, you know. So I'm gonna put the new one on right here. So you make sure that it's straight. Make sure that the washer's always in there, righty tighty. And I'm not going to tighten it yet until I can get the whole toilet in here, but I'm just going to get it set up to where, and you can rub the thing, make sure there's nothing in the way, because something might be blocking it, you know, like a little rock. It's always something small too, you know. So make sure you do it right, take your time, and you know, you want to finger tighten it first. If finger tightening doesn't work, then you're doing something wrong. And you're probably messing it up, and then you're going to have to replace the whole L piece. And, I mean, they're easy. You can just cut it with a pair of cutters, and you can either get the compression where you put the ring on, or you can weld it. Or a SharkBite, I mean, isn't promising, but SharkBite is just quick and it doesn't last as long as compression. You know, SharkBite, I use SharkBite like if I have to cap something off real quick, bang, bang. You know, other people, I tell customers that and they want me to use it anyway. I'm just honest. You know, that's why I do what I do. Because I'm honest with people. But yeah, then I want to tighten that up because it's finger tight, and get the wax ring on, put the toilet on, and just reverse the process. Normally I would put the wax ring on, put everything there, and then do it, but I'm gonna show you out here. So what I do is I got this. I like this name because they come with this, and I can make these finger tight. That's all you got to do anyway, but be careful because you don't really need these. I still do it without these, with the other bolts as well. You know, you just push one side down, and you see this thing is just so fat that it compresses, and you can push it down anyway, but I just push it down on either side, tighten one side up, and push it down on the other side and tighten the other side up. So I got it done. I got it done here. See, I just kind of push it down, kind of wiggle it, you know, because it's just holding water. And this washer in here is just directing water to go down. So that ain't even holding the water. There's a nut that washer goes over, and that's what holds the water. So this basically holds the water inside, and it's screwed in from the bottom. And the washer just goes on top of that. And then see these right here? This is just under pressure. This isn't under pressure, so this is just holding water. So you don't have to matter about that. The only pieces that you have to matter about is if it's tight. Right there, like the washer's tight against the thing. See this nut right here? Make sure everything's tight so water doesn't flow out. It's only holding 1 gallon of water. And this thing is gonna hold the pressure. So you're gonna screw it into there anyway. So this is all one piece. So now I got the lid. And this is the water saver. I think this is like European style. I can't be sure, but what you do is take this off, put it through the hole, and white is the 1 drop and black is the 2 drop. So what you want to do is, because it's not adjustable, so you want to spin this to kind of make the 2 drop longer. So if you do need, take a number 2 or something, you know, you can flush it all the way, and hence the 2 droplets. So I'm going to take this off right here, and then I'll show you the lid. So the way it came set up already is the white is in the front and it's in the back. So this is going to go through the hole. And get my leg out the way. It's going to be like that. So it's going to be just like that. And this is the ring that I took off. So I'm going to hold the top of it like this and switch it over. Make sure that it's front to back like that. And then put this on like this. And I'm going to make sure that it's tight. Tight enough to where it don't pop through when you press the button. You know, you don't, this is plastic, and this is actual cheap plastic. So I think this nut right here is made out of quality plastic, but this shiny stuff is made out of cheap plastic. I think it's harder plastic, so it can crack easier. So you just want to snug it, not with pliers or nothing. You know, just hold on to these and kind of go over like this with both hands and just snug it up like that, because you don't want to have movement really. So kind of just like that, and then put it on, and you have front and back. See, bam, it's going to push the button. So now the toilet seat is pretty straightforward. So I got the wax ring, and you just line the holes up pretty much. Put this in with the washer. It's pretty simple, straightforward stuff. And then once you do it, you put the nut on the bottom, make it as tight as you can. You hear it, you can see it. And then you put the cap on. So I'm gonna do that. And then you just hold it like this, and you take this nut on the bottom and you just spin it on. So I'm gonna attempt this again. So get the old stuff out the way, pop the new one down like this. It didn't move much, so sometimes you need a jumbo. You just need to, I always have a jumbo wax ring handy just in case. But in most cases, you don't need one. So, and then I'll put it on, grab the toilet like I said, and look, I have light, so I'll look, and then I'll tighten everything up again. If you have one of these pop-on caps like this, That way, this has like a white cap that I can put on. But see, the white washer is what clicks it on. So you have to make sure it's on the right way and not upside down. And then you put the washer, the metal washer on top, and then you put the nut. The reason why I do that is because as you're tightening it down, the plastic washer tends to get compressed, and it's less friction on the toilet itself, and you can reduce the risks of cracking it. And besides, the reason for the white washer, the reason for this white washer is because you put the cap on here, and the cap wants to snap like that. And that way you can hide everything. There we go. How to install a toilet, change a wax ring. Nothing's leaking, I checked it already.